Purim Tafshin Pei Aleph 2021 is going to be a little bit different than previous Purims that we've celebrated. We're not going to be running around all day giving out Mishloach Manos. The Sudos are going to be smaller. There's no Mesiba Purim. And furthermore, the noise making for Haman and Shul is going to be quieter. However, the fundamentals of Purim are going to be exactly the same. And more often, because of the busyness of the day, we forget what is Purim really about? What's the essential focus, point, foundation of Purim? Let's go back to the basics, and this year we could really appreciate and understand Purim differently. If we listen to the words of the Rambam at the end of the Sefer Minyan HaKatzar, the Rambam tells us what Purim is all about and why we learn and lay in the Megillah. Says the Rambam, Kidei lehodia ledoros haboim. The purpose of reading the Megillah is to teach future generations, our generation. She'emes mashiv ticha Torah. It's exactly true what the Torah promised. Kimi goy godol asher lo Elokim krov elav kashem Elokeinu b'chol kareinu elav. Kadosh Baruch Hu is close. He hears our tefillos. He hears when we cry out to Him. And just like in the Purim story, when Esther gathered the people and Klal Yisrael came together as a unit, as a team, cried out to Kadosh Baruch Hu for 3 days. We fasted. We were crying out to Kadosh Baruch Hu to save us from annihilation. And Kadosh Baruch Hu heard our prayers. Says the Rambam, that's the purpose of reading the Megillah, to teach each and every single Jew that HaKadosh Baruch Hu hears our tefillos, and just like the tefillos were successfully accepted and we were victorious and came out big winners, so too we need to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu hears every single word that we say from a siddur, from a tehillim, from our heart. And thus when we read the Megillah and we celebrate Purim, the focus, the foundation, the essential crux of Purim is recognizing Ki mi goy gadol asher lo Elokim krovim elav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu so close to us. He hears us. And this Purim, when we're not as busy, we're not running around all day, we're not spending the entire day with people, and we're not focused completely on the Su'udah, we should open our siddur extra. We should open our Tehillim for longer. We should call out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu from our heart, from our soul, daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu like we've never davened before. The power of the tefillos of Tainis Esther, the power of the tefillos of Purim and Shushan Purim, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, 3 days to focus on tefillah, tachanunim, tehillim, our heart, our soul, cognitively thinking, talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly like we want to. Like a master is spoken to, like a Ervid speaks to the Melech. Let's talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our own language and our words and the words of Chazal, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants our tefillah. He hears every word that we say. And thus this Purim, let's focus on the power of tefillah more than we have in the past. But it's not just articulating tefillah. It's not just saying the words, but I think there's something even cognitively that we must recognize differently this Purim than others in the past. The Gemara says, and we paskin in Shulchan Aruch, Chayav Adam lebesume bepuraya adelo yada bein ara hamal baruch Mordechai. A person is required to become inebriated, drunk on Purim, until the point that he doesn't know the difference between the cursed Haman and the blessed Mordechai. Arur and Baruch are antonyms. They're opposites. They're mutually exclusive. Arur is a curse. Baruch is a blessing. Those two things don't work together. It's like light and dark. It's shibud and geula. It's bondage to freedom. Afeila liora. They are two opposites. Thus on Purim, the Gemara says, when we paskin in Shulchan Aruch, without getting into the halachic applications and implications of getting drunk on Purim, but we have to reach a state on Purim where even the blessings and the curses are one and the same. The curses themselves we see as blessings. If you take a look in the introduction to the commentary of the Nesivos, Rabbi Yaakov Milisa, on his Megillas Esther called Megillas Sesarim, he explains that that's the pshat. Chayav Adam lebisune bepuraya adelo yada ben ara hamal baruch Mordechai. When we realize that even the arur, even the curses themselves are blessings, even the quarantine, even the solitude, even the loneliness, even the quieter Purim, that itself is a blessing. We want a Purim that's full of fun and excitement and enthusiasm with 100 people packed in a room. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that's not for this year, that's not this Purim. And you have to reach a state and appreciate that the arur, the curse, is not a curse, it's a blessing. You take a look at Chasam Sofer in Parshas Kisisa, the Zohar HaKadosh in Parshas Kisavo, that Tzlach Nenod Bihud and Psachim Dav Nun Amud Aleph explain the ultimate level, the highest level that one can reach. It's the level of Olam Haba V'Mos HaMashiach, is when even bad is not bad, but bad bad is good, when curses themselves are blessings. Because in La'asid Love, we're not going to make a bracha of Dayan Haemes and Atovu Meitiv. We're only going to break the bracha of Atovu Meitiv because even the bad is really good. And thus on Purim, we reach a level where we're able to see that the Arur Haman is really Baruch Mordechai. And that's a job that we need to focus on this Purim. When we're a little bit lonely, when we're not with the same group of family friends that we always are with during the Suda, when the shul is not packed to the gills that it always is, when we don't see the kids running around and we don't see as many costumes, and they should dress up and make sure they do dress up. But at the same time, the challenge, the avod of this Purim is number one, tefillah utza'aka, tachanunim, crying out to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, recognizing that a Kadosh Baruch Hu hears our tefillos. That's what we articulate, that's what we say. And cognitively recognizing that emotionally, that what Hashem wants from us this year is different than previous years. And to reach the level by the end of Purim, as Shabbos comes in, that the Arur Haman, that the cursed Haman, that the curses themselves are Baruch Mordechai. Let's look for the blessings in the curses. And more than that, the curses themselves are blessings. If we're able to reach that state on Purim, then we've really lived Purim, even without the big Suda, even without running around giving Mishloach Manos, even without the packed shuls. Let's recognize that Arur is Baruch, and when we understand that, we recognize that, we are living a world of Imosa Mashiach. We're living the world of Olam Haba. Let's call out to Hashem. Let's daven like we never davened before. We'll be zocha to Simchas Purim eternally and externally on a deeper, more passionate way than ever. Enjoy Purim. Love Purim. Soak it in because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so close to us. These are 3 special days coming up, Tainis Esther Purim and Shushan Purim, of Tefillah V'Tza'aka, of Bracha and Yeshua, and Arur that turns to Baruch, a Haman that is a Mordechai, and a Mordechai who will protect us, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu who loves us. B'chol Kareinu, I love wishing you a wonderful Shabbos, an easy fast, and Simchas Purim Ad Bilidai Kol Tov.